Thanks for joining us on Newsnight tonight. The first story is about Nigerian President Muhammadu Buhari is calling for international support to help Chad in its transition from military to democratic government. Agosa Egumbo reports.
Leaders of the Lake Chad Basin Commission have gathered in Abuja for an extraordinary summit. The issue at hand, Chad. The country has been in crisis since the death of President Idris Deby last month.
The threat of further conflict in Chad requires quick, decisive, and specific resolution to ensure the immediate de-escalation of future hostilities and the attendant loss of lives in the country.
The Chadian leader's death created a power vacuum, and it has grave implications for the continued peace and stability of the Sahel region.
Our region is faced with several challenges that need the support and engagement of all to overcome. While transitional crimes and rebellion cutting across our region continue to evolve in scope, the attendant conflicts also continue to retain their distinct form of inflicting untold hardship and difficulty on the lives of our citizens.
The military now has 18 months to restore democratic rule to the country, but that's proving to be a big challenge because of threats by the rebel groups to overthrow the government.
The extraordinary session urged the Transitional Military Council to embark on the process of national reconciliation and dialogue involving all Chadian stakeholders that will lead to free and fair elections. Appealed to all Chadians to avail themselves of the services of the newly created Ministry of National Reconciliation and Dialogue and prioritize dialogue in the settlement of their differences. Further appealed to all Chadian rebel mercenary groups to shun violence and embrace the path of dialogue.
The level of poverty and daily conflict has forced many to flee, worsening a humanitarian crisis. It's also been compounded by the breakdown of law and order in Libya. Leaders in the region are worried that this could further escalate tensions in the Sahel.
The Libyan conflict has increased fragility in our region with destabilizing security implications across the Lake Chad and the larger Sahel region, typified by increased circulation of illicit arms and ammunition, narcotic substances, as well as refugee crisis that continues to threaten the security of the region.
The extraordinary session noted the imperative of establishing a special fund to support Chad in its ongoing transition and in the strengthening of democratic and governance institutions that would reinforce the social contract and enhance development of the country. Noted with concern that the situation in Libya is intrinsically linked to the deteriorating security situation not only in Chad, but also in the Lake Chad Basin and the Sahel regions. Hence, the need for the international community to support Chad in its fight against mercenaries and terrorists.
The next few months are crucial for Chad. Only coordinated efforts can help the country return to democratic leadership. The regional leaders will need all the help they can get to bring peace back to the region, eradicate terrorism, and instill good governance. Agosa Egumbo, Arise News.
Arise analyst Sam AMADI joins us now for a closer look at the position of the African leaders on the Chad crisis. Thank you so much for joining us on Newsnight. Dr. Sam AMADI, it does seem that the huge gap created by the death of Idris Deby is beginning to show, and President Muhammadu Buhari rightly points at the fact that transnational crimes are on the rise. They're evolving, every day. in that region. This call for international help, is it coming? Is it timely, this meeting and all that?
I think it's timely. Again, recalls 1995, I think, Robert Kagan did a major essay titled The Coming Anarchy. He said that West Africa is not a symbol of anarchy with population, with erosion of nation state and borders, with cartel, drug cartel, private militia, warlordism, disease, poverty. So basically, perfect storm. Everything comes together with the areas in the Chad Basin, the 7-8 states that are involved, together with the Sahel. And then look at the people in that room. Nigeria, look at Chad, look at Cameroon, that's involved in massive internal conflict around bordering on even secession and insurrection.
Exactly.
So Sudan was there. Libya, and it's been mentioned. So clearly, one could argue this is the most stressed part of the globe today. If you put a pandemic, poverty pandemic, conflict pandemic, almost statelessness, state failure pandemic, diseases, drug cartel, illicit trafficking in arms, erosion of borders, interethnic conflicts. So a mixture of very deadly, headwinds coming together. And so this is a timely, but the question then is, can it come out of this? And Chad looks like it's going to worsen by the day with all the dynamics.
Why do you believe that it will get worse? Is it anything to do with the age of the interim president, or is it something to do with the fact that the most powerful person in that country for ages has passed away, so that vacuum is created?
That's part of it. You see, one of the things with African countries, when illegitimate states are being held together by force, just like it's happened with Cameroon, by the way, when the strong man gets off or bumped off or whatever, you see massive, we saw it in Libya as well. So what's happening is that these states are diseased, they are stressed significantly. So Chad, for example, the activities of the Islamic State with other local terror groups and, of course, internal conflicts. These governments were not built on strong legitimacy, use of force. And so when that force is challenged successfully, it creates like an avalanche of resistance and infighting. Again, you don't have a solid institutional structure, poverty. And then, of course, the impact of the dwindling Lake Chad means that both agriculture, other environmental crises work together to cause acute scarcity of resources and then, entrench stiff, aggressive fight for resource, power as well. Again, some of these leaders at the same time are not willing to, sacrifice personal interests, sectional interests for strategic national interests. For example, they are talking about dialoguing. I mean, at that table, leaders there are not even dialoguing in their own constituencies. So the president himself, who is the chair of this, who has so much passion for the Chad Basin Commission and the Sahel, is not even driving significant dialogue in his own country. Cameroon is not. So primarily, this is going to get worse because it's not for maybe international team has to come in to help them stave off the aggression.
And that's where I take my next point from. I mean, they're all calling for international, President Buhari has made it, he has stressed it over and over again. There's a need for international cooperation or help in pushing back terrorism. At what levels, especially with AFRICOM, of course, he called for, AFRICOM to be moved to Africa. At what level do you think the international community, US, UK, Europe, Germany, and the rest of them, how will they come in? And a lot of people too will tell you, look, the involvement of France, for example, in Mali has complicated issues.
And again, they come late. They come after the burial. I mean, we saw Rwanda, we saw everywhere. Until become critical refugee cases, until become really, really trouble. And again, it happened that this is a zone that's not really critical to international trade or international anything. So the crisis
is not too critical. Some will tell you that, look, somebody is
critical for the wrong reasons.
Somebody is gaining from this crisis.
It's critical for the wrong reason. Okay. Drug, arms, and they could manage it. You see, the containment strategy is easier. That's why Africa will not come. They're not going to take the cost of bringing Africa here. Africa has been marginal for some time and more so marginalized in international politics. The days of democracy as part of foreign policy made Africa a place for the big powers to fight over. Now it's no longer there. So the Africans themselves have to solve this problem. Yes, it's good to say international help. It won't come on time. It will come in piecemeal. It will come with some kind of support. But before you know it, the whole place is overrun. So
How
I
do
think
they help themselves then?
we need to first start with acknowledging that, look, you have to craft a modern state in Africa, especially in West Africa, states that are truly democratic in character. Look at those people at that table. They don't epitomize the new energy of democratic governance.
Thank you very much, Dr. Sam AMADI, talking to us about the Lake Chad Basin and the leaders coming together.